Human superpowers, examples. In an age where machines can outpace us in calculation, memory, and even mimicry, the question arises, what remains uniquely human? What powers do we possess that no algorithm can replicate in full? There are many superpowers humans own. For example, 4 elemental superpowers: story, empathy, embodiment, and imagination, that define the human essence and offer a blueprint for thriving in a world increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. 1. Story, the architecture of meaning. Humans are not merely data processors, we are meaning makers. Storytelling is our oldest technology, predating writing, agriculture, and even organized religion. From the cave paintings of Chauvet to the epics of Homer and the cinematic universes of today, stories have served as vessels for memory, morality, and myth. Neuroscience reveals that narrative structures activate multiple regions of the brain simultaneously: language, emotion, sensory processing, creating a holistic experience that raw data cannot evoke. Unlike AI-generated text, which often lacks intentionality or emotional arc, human stories carry the weight of lived experience. They encode cultural memory, transmit values across generations, and allow us to simulate alternate realities. In fact, psychologist Jerome Bruner argued that narrative thinking is distinct from logical scientific reasoning, and often more effective in shaping belief and behavior. Story is not just entertainment, it is how we construct identity, interpret the world, and imagine futures. Example: Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens and JFK's Moon speech. Harari's Sapiens reframes human history through the lens of storytelling, arguing that our ability to create shared myths, like religion, money, and nations, is what allowed Homo sapiens to cooperate in vast numbers. Similarly, John F. Kennedy's 1961 speech to Congress, where he described space as a new ocean, galvanized 400,000 people to work toward the moon landing. His metaphors and narrative vision transformed a technical challenge into a national myth. Why it matters: these stories didn't just inform them. They turned abstract goals into emotionally resonant missions. 2. Empathy, the bridge of consciousness. Empathy is the capacity to feel with another, to inhabit their emotional landscape without losing oneself. It is not mere sentiment. It is a cognitive and emotional superpower that enables cooperation, healing, and moral reasoning. Mirror neurons, discovered in the 1990s, offer a biological basis for empathy, allowing us to simulate others' actions and emotions internally. But empathy is also shaped by culture, upbringing, and personal experience, making it deeply contextual and nuanced. AI can simulate empathy through sentiment analysis or scripted responses, but it cannot truly feel. It lacks the embodied vulnerability that makes human connection transformative. Empathy allows us to navigate grief, joy, injustice, and love, not as abstract concepts but as shared realities. In professions like caregiving, counseling, diplomacy, and education, empathy is not optional. As machines become more prevalent, the human ability to attune, respond, and care will become even more vital. Example: Nelson Mandela's reconciliation. Mandela, after 27 years in prison, chose empathy over vengeance. He learned Afrikaans, embraced symbols of white South African culture, and led with forgiveness, healing a fractured nation. Why it matters: empathy isn't a weakness, it's transformative leadership. It builds trust, loyalty, and bridges across divides. 3. Embodiment, intelligence in motion. We often think of intelligence as residing in the brain, but human cognition is profoundly embodied. Our gestures, posture, breath, and movement shape how we think and feel. Theories like embodied cognition suggest that physical experience is inseparable from mental processes. For example, dancers and athletes often solve problems kinetically, through motion rather than abstract reasoning. Even our language reflects this. We grasp ideas, wrestle with problems, leap to conclusions. AI, by contrast, is disembodied. It can analyze movement, but cannot experience it. It lacks proprioception, a sense of bodily awareness, and cannot feel the weight of a child in its arms or the rhythm of a heartbeat during a performance. Human embodiment allows for spontaneity, intuition, and aesthetic expression. It is the source of our rituals, our art, our physical intimacy. In a world of virtual interfaces, the power of presence, of being fully in one's body, becomes a radical act. Example: Steve Jobs' walking meetings and power posing. In psychology, Jobs often held walking meetings, believing movement unlocked creativity. Stanford studies confirm this. Walking boosts divergent thinking by up to 60%. Meanwhile, research on power poses shows that standing tall with open posture can increase confidence and reduce stress, even before a high-stakes event. Why it matters: our bodies don't just carry us, they shape how we think, feel, and lead. Embodiment is cognition in motion. 4. Imagination, the engine of possibility. Imagination is the ability to conjure what does not yet exist. It is the birthplace of innovation, art, and spiritual vision. Unlike predictive algorithms, which extrapolate from existing data, human imagination can leap into the unknown, defy logic, and invent entirely new paradigms. It is not constrained by probability, it thrives on possibility. Cognitive science links imagination to the default mode network, DMN, in the brain, which activates during daydreaming, memory recall, and creative ideation. This network allows us to simulate future scenarios, empathize with others, and generate novel ideas. Imagination is also deeply tied to emotion and metaphor, enabling us to envision justice, beauty, and transcendence. AI can remix existing content, but it cannot dream. It cannot feel awe or terror or longing. Human imagination is what gave us the pyramids, the moon landing, the internet, and it will be what guides us through the ethical and existential dilemmas of the AI age. Example: Einstein's thought experiments and Walt Disney's vision. Einstein imagined riding alongside a beam of light, long before he had equations. His theory of relativity began as pure imagination. Walt Disney envisioned entire worlds before they existed, turning sketches into global mythologies. His empire began with a mouse and a dream. Why it matters: imagination births revolutions. It's how we leap beyond data, beyond logic, into realms of wonder and innovation. The return to essence. These 4 exemplary superpowers, story, empathy, embodiment, and imagination, are not relics of a pre-digital past. They are the very capacities that will define our future. As machines grow in capability, humans must deepen in essence. The reckoning is not a surrender, it is a return. To the storyteller who weaves worlds. To the healer who listens with presence. To the dancer who moves with spirit. To the witness who remembers. AI-proof professions, the enduring roles of human mastery. Nothing will be completely AI-proof in coming decades, but there is way. As artificial intelligence continues its rapid ascent, reshaping industries and automating tasks once thought untouchable, a quiet revolution is unfolding in parallel, the reaffirmation of professions that remain uniquely human. These roles are not merely resistant to automation, they thrive because of the very qualities machines cannot replicate. The professions that will endure and evolve through 2050, supported by deep research, trend analysis, and philosophical insight. 1. Mental and critical healthcare professionals, the architects of emotional healing. Therapists, counselors, and psychologists operate in a domain where nuance, empathy, and trust are paramount. While AI can analyze speech patterns or detect emotional cues from facial expressions, it cannot truly understand suffering, nor can it hold space for vulnerability. Healing is not transactional, it is relational. Studies show that therapeutic success is strongly correlated with the quality of the human relationship between client and practitioner. The American Psychological Association emphasizes that empathy, cultural sensitivity, and ethical judgment are central to mental health care, areas where AI consistently falls short. By 2050, as emotional distress linked to automation and identity displacement rises, mental health professionals will become even more essential. Critical healthcare professionals, such as surgeons, ICU nurses, emergency physicians, and respiratory therapists, operate in environments where seconds determine survival and decisions carry the weight of life and death. Their expertise is not just clinical, it is intuitive, embodied, and forged through years of high-stakes experience. While AI can assist with diagnostics, monitor vitals, or suggest treatment protocols, it cannot replace the human capacity to interpret subtle physiological shifts, respond to emotional distress, or make ethical judgments under pressure. Studies in intensive care settings show that successful AI integration depends heavily on human oversight, trust, and collaboration. These professionals navigate chaos with calm, adapt to unpredictable scenarios, and provide not only medical intervention but emotional reassurance to patients and families. In the most critical moments, it is their presence, not a machine's precision, that saves lives. 2. Skilled trades, the masters of embodied intelligence. Expert technology developers, architects, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and mechanics possess a form of intelligence that is deeply embodied and situational. Their work involves improvisation, tactile feedback, and real-time problem-solving in unpredictable environments. AI may assist with diagnostics or planning, but it cannot crawl under a sink, feel the tension in a wire, or adapt to the quirks of a century-old building. According to labor trend forecasts, skilled trades are among the least likely to be fully automated, even by 2050. These roles require dexterity, spatial reasoning, and a kind of intuitive craftsmanship that remains beyond robotic replication. As infrastructure ages and sustainable retrofitting becomes a global priority, the demand for these artisans will only grow. 3. Educators, the cultivators of human potential. While AI tutors can personalize learning paths and assess performance metrics, they cannot inspire, mentor, or respond to the emotional needs of students. Especially in early childhood education and special needs contexts, the educator's role is profoundly relational. Teaching is not just about information transfer, it is about modeling curiosity, resilience, and care. Research from educational psychology confirms that teacher-student relationships significantly impact motivation, retention, and long-term success. In a future where knowledge is abundant and instantly accessible, the educator becomes a guide through complexity, a mentor in meaning-making, and a protector of human development. 4. Artists and performers, the keepers of soul and spectacle. AI can generate music, mimic painting styles, and even write poetry. But it cannot perform with presence. It cannot feel the tension of a live audience, improvise in response to energy, or channel emotion through movement. Dance, theater, and live music are deeply embodied rituals of communion that transcend replication. Cultural studies show that audiences consistently prefer human performers over digital simulations, even when the latter are technically flawless. The imperfection, spontaneity, and vulnerability of live art are what make it powerful. As virtual entertainment expands, the hunger for authentic human expression will intensify. 5. Astrologers, spiritual leaders, and ritual designers, the guides of meaning. In a world increasingly defined by data and simulation, the need for spiritual grounding and existential guidance will grow. Priests, monks, shamans, and ritual designers offer something AI cannot: a connection to mystery, transcendence, and collective identity. They help communities navigate grief, joy, and transformation, not through logic, but through presence and symbolism. Anthropological research shows that rituals, whether religious, cultural, or personal, play a vital role in psychological resilience and social cohesion. These practices require intuition, empathy, and deep cultural knowledge. AI may assist in organizing or documenting rituals, but it cannot embody them. 6. Legislature, social workers, and crisis responders, the guardians of humanity. Legislature, where law dances with power, and every statute is a step in the choreography of civilization. Social workers operate in chaotic, emotionally charged environments: homes, shelters, hospitals, and streets. Their work demands rapid ethical judgment, cultural sensitivity, and emotional stamina. AI can support logistics or data analysis, but it cannot navigate the moral complexity of a family in crisis or a refugee seeking asylum. By 2050, as climate change, migration, and inequality intensify, the need for human-centered crisis response will surge. These professionals will be the front line of compassion, resilience, and justice. 7. Legal professionals, the interpreters of justice. While AI can process legal documents and predict case outcomes, it struggles with ambiguity, cultural nuance, and moral reasoning. Lawyers, judges, and mediators must interpret not just law, but context, balancing precedent with ethics and logic with empathy. Legal scholars warn that over-reliance on AI in justice systems risks bias, dehumanization, and erosion of trust. The future of law will likely be hybrid, AI handling routine tasks, while humans navigate the gray zones where justice lives. 8. Entrepreneurs and visionaries, the architects of the new. Entrepreneurship is not just problem-solving, it is risk-taking, intuition, and vision. Founders often succeed not because of data, but because of gut instinct, timing, and emotional intelligence. AI can assist with market analysis or prototyping, but it cannot dream, pivot, or lead with passion. Innovation thrives on contradiction, chaos, and courage, qualities that resist automation. As new industries emerge from the AI revolution, human visionaries will be the ones to shape them. 9. Subject matter experts, SMEs. Subject matter experts embody a fusion of deep domain knowledge, contextual judgment, and lived experience that AI cannot replicate. Their expertise is not just informational, it's interpretive, intuitive, and often forged through years of immersion, failure, and refinement. Whether in law, medicine, engineering, or the arts, SMEs navigate ambiguity, challenge assumptions, and innovate within complex systems. AI may assist with data processing or pattern recognition, but it lacks the capacity to weigh ethical trade-offs, understand cultural nuance, or synthesize insights across disciplines with human foresight. In a world increasingly shaped by algorithms, SMEs remain irreplaceable as the custodians of wisdom, nuance, and critical thinking. The future is human-centered. These professions endure not because they resist technology, but because they embody what technology cannot. They are rooted in emotion, ethics, creativity, and presence. As AI becomes more powerful, these roles will become more precious, not as relics, but as beacons. The future of work is not about avoiding automation, it is about deepening humanity. These AI-proof professions are not just jobs. They are living proof that in a world of machines, the human soul still matters.